Okay. Hey, welcome everyone. Today is June 2nd already, 2020. Uh, Teller Core Chat. So thanks everyone for coming. Should be should be pretty quick with some of the updates. Um, First one, so we're still doing some upgrades on the miner. We're doing that PSR hard fork. We're planning probably about 2 weeks from Friday. So you guys still have plenty of time to test it out, but please come and test it out with us. Help us make it better. Make sure nobody gets slashed. If you need more time to build on it, just let me know. You just want to make sure that everyone's prepared for the upgrades. We'll be pushing some stuff to mainnet, so just keep an eye out for it. We'll be really spamming some of the message boards with it over the next week or two. So yeah, that's kind of where my focus has been. We're also starting testing V2, which is really exciting. But it's all just pretty simple changes. But we want to make sure that we get everything correct, and we'll be sending our goal. We're holding our feet to the fire. We want to send it out for an audit at the end of June. So we want to get kind of all of our local testing and spin it up on Rinkeby and everything before we send it out for an audit. And then timeline wise, usually audits take like 2 weeks, depends on the firm. Then hopefully we can get it back 2 weeks later, and then in my mind, we test for 2 weeks to a month on Rinkeby. That's the big upgrade process. It should be fun. And then hopefully it's relatively seamless moving forward with it. So that's kind of been where our dev focus has been. I know that it probably seems like we're not doing anything, just because it's definitely not forward facing, quite as much as like marketing or, as much as I want to sit here and write articles all day. Getting the dev work done is important too. And then some other stuff. So next week, it was supposed to be this week, but then we pushed it till next week. We're gonna be showing off some new front end tools for you guys to play around with, a dispute center and a price viewer. So we'll have on some guys who helped us build it, and they're actually from the Raid Guild, which is a DAO over there. So you can ask them some questions on that. You can ask them some just general Ethereum questions. They'll be answering all of your user questions with us. And and then also ACS testing. We also finished that up. So we'll hopefully be moving with the ACS. Probably be testing it on Matic here soon. Should be fun as well. Mike, any updates?
I mentioned last week about the ETH India hackathon called Chain Runner. I just wanted to bring that up again. And what I'm going to do is I'll send some links in the main Telegram chat where you guys can watch a recording of a video we did when the hackathon launched, that I sort of introduced Tellor and introduced our bounties. Some content for you guys to look at there and share around. Briefly, you can actually see our bounties at chainrunner.devfolio.co. But I want to just mention them real quick here because we're really excited to get people to take us up on these. And we think that they're pretty decent, and they're not like mountains to climb. Like, I think these things are really up for grabs. So we have $2,000 worth of bounties. The grand prize is $1,000, and that is to that goes to the best original use case for Tellor's price feed. So really, you guys could get creative and think of a new stablecoin alternative or a new derivative product. And as long as you are implementing Tellor's price feed and some of our best Oracle practices, which you guys should know by heart by now, then you stand at a really good chance to get that. The second one is most creative use case for Tellor's price feed, something unexpected that, if you guys come up with a way to use Tellor's price feed in a way that we didn't, that we sort of get a kick out of, then, that goes to you. And the last one is if you implement Tellor into an already existing idea, an already existing project. And that's for 450. So they're not like huge. They're not huge lifts, I don't think. We think that any hackers out there that you guys know should know about this, and we think they'd be really interested in. So we're just trying to spread the word about it. We're going to be doing a workshop for ETH India as well to try to reach directly out to their community and do a workshop about building on Tellor and an AMA out there as well. But I thought I would go directly to our community here because there might be some of you. You don't have to be a part of ETH India to want to participate in this hackathon. So look up for some more information from me in the chat about that. I'll shoot it over shortly. What else? I had something else I was going to say. Now I lost it.
Subscriber email.
Oh yeah, we have some content coming up. So
yeah.
yeah, we'll be up. We have a new, whether it's going to be the community update or a monthly review. We have that coming out today or tomorrow, and we also have another article coming out next week, which is a little bit more of an educational, it's a lighthearted, some lighter content from us about oracles in DeFi, something that we've actually got some good feedback about some of our lighter content. Not that, I mean, people like our deeper content, so do we, but we were pleasantly surprised to hear that some of our easier to digest content was well received. So we have some more of that coming out this week and this month as well. So keep an eye out for those things. And like Nick said, we've been busy working on things to announce for you guys. So don't think because we're quiet for a few days in the chat that nothing's going on. So keep an eye out for more news.
Yeah, usually it's the opposite. So like if we're very front focused and have a whole bunch of articles coming out and we're always in the chat, it means we're probably not developing as much as we should be.
Well, yeah, you look at some of these projects, they don't have much going on. They're like, well, we need parties in the chat room and we need games and we need all these events and stuff to sort of drum up activity. And we like activity like that too, but I would be more wary if that's all we did.
Right.
Cool. I say we just jump into the questions.
Cool. Always fun.
Okay. Nick, you love Star Wars and your surname is Fett. That's wild.
Cool.
That's the same, I said that to Nick when I first met him too. I was like, because I think I saw your tattoo of the Mandalorian crest and I was like, that's an awesome tattoo. And your name is Fett. Like, that's perfect. Like if my name was Fett, I would be into Star Wars and I would get Fett related tattoos. You can't criticize that.
Just awesome question. Thank you.
It's a statement. So
yes.
I concur. More Fett love. We need more Fett love in these responses here. Is Tellor a truth machine for the world? Maybe you can replace Twitter's fact checking.
Yeah, but I think so. This is actually an important thing to get down to because it always is. Whenever you're talking about what a blockchain is or an oracle, especially. So an oracle deals with off-chain data, but a blockchain deals with what is truth when it comes to what the database is, who holds what amount, and that's kind of the beauty of these systems. And there is no absolute truth with these things. There is, but it's much more of this. What does our community say it is? So like, if you're using Tellor as an oracle, you are going on truth according to Tellor's community, Tellor's voting process, and that's sort of the security assumption you're making. If you're using, if you're using Ethereum, for instance, you're going off of truth according to the stakeholders of Ethereum, and that's true with Bitcoin or with any of them, and usually the values you know, when it comes to Ethereum or Bitcoin or most of these, it's, you really do strive to go after the absolute truth, just for, you know, kind of this non-changing aspect of it. But it really is just a much more fluid definition of it. So, you know, Twitter's fact checking and things like that, like, people have always, these ones, Augur actually had a really big problem with this. People were creating prediction markets, so you could say, like, is this true or is this false, but you do it on something that's like an ambiguous statement. So, you know, it's like, is gray white or black? Like, you know, it's neither. Or, you know, did questions that are unknowable, and you can't necessarily answer it with those things, like, you know, does Donald Trump love his wife? Like, you you can't answer this question. And whether or not you want to rely on Tellor for this trust, or Twitter, for instance, is bad. You know, I think what it ultimately should come down to, especially with a lot of these fact checking things, it's just yeah, you really just want to make sure that you know who you're placing your trust in, and probably you don't want to censor people, so you want to have platforms that can't fact check, or, you know, if they do fact check, it's pretty blatant, you know, because I think that's more of the problem with the Twitter fact checking. Is it's not that you think that they shouldn't take off what is untrue, it's that you disagree with their version of true. So if you had, like, smaller, tighter knit communities where, you know, everyone using this version of Twitter believed this truth, and everyone using this version of Twitter believed a different truth, it would be better. Or, you know, you would have one that is sort of uncensored and one that is censored, and people choose. Yeah, I don't know. I'm ranting at this point.
Yeah, no.
It's tough. Yeah.
Just a long rant in my head right now. Do miners drive crypto lending markets?
I don't know. They're probably over 18.
Took me a second.
Yeah. Well, no, I would say no. Miners sell. Miners dump tokens as soon as they get them. So very few mining operations hold on to too much. So.
Yeah, they're like you've always said, they're pretty separate communities. Like I don't. I mean, I'm sure there are some miners that are involved in DeFi, you know, the DeFi Legos, but I would imagine most of them are just, they're doing their chop shop. They're just mining and dumping, mining and selling.
Yeah, the big holders of crypto, I think you gotta, you know, a lot of kind of VC or small investment groups, and then the projects themselves. You know, if you're talking about lending from tokens and things like that, a lot of these projects have large amounts of ETH, large amounts of their own token. They're doing a lot.
So we've, I don't know if we've answered this. I swear this is every week. This one is on there, and I've skipped it a couple of times. But someone really, really wants to know if we admire Steve Jobs. Yeah, I never read any of his biographies. So I mean, I've seen the movie. I'm a big Apple fan, and you know, some of my, I don't know, I was at the perfect age for when like the iPhone keynote happened, and I don't know if I really ever think of him as a man, and more of like this icon of like a device or a certain technology that was announced that changed my life and sort of changed everything around that time, where there was the iMac, which was a huge thing when I first went to college, or the iPhone, which is a huge thing right after I graduated college. So I don't know. This is a really non-answer. Nick will probably have a better one from a business perspective, but I admire what he's done, because everything I feel like he's done has affected my life profoundly in terms of like my day-to-day and the tools I use. So
Yeah, I haven't seen the movie, and I've never owned a Mac or an iPhone, so I'm like the last person to answer this question.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The movie did a really good job of making you like admire his vision for these products and the iPod and everything like that. So
Sure.
I don't know. Sorry, it's a lame answer from both of us. What's up with F2 Pool? Did they disable Tellor mining? So yes,
So, but I think we have a call with them later this week.
Yes. Yeah. So it's there's a technical hitch on their end, and we're just having to coordinate with them. They're in China, so it's just taken a week now to sort of coordinate helping them figure out the issue. So from what we understand, it's just a temporary thing. And so I'm interested to hear what their issue is and how we can help them. So we'll find out more tomorrow morning.
Yeah, and let me know if you guys actually use pools and mine on them. Like I don't know how much of our community, it's always nice when these big miners come in, but if you guys are specifically using a pool or want to go after a pool, let me know. We can give them a call or something, because most of these pools, it seems to be it's almost just like one giant miner that comes in and almost centralizes the mining for a little bit until other pools jump in. So yeah, it's not like they've been doing a whole lot for the Tellor ecosystem. But I know F2 Pool's big, and they actually had me on their podcast, so we like them.
Yeah.
But
out of all the pools, they're like the most
engaged with us.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
So we really like them a lot. So,
but
we don't know, like, how much should we care about these pools? How much do you guys care?
Yeah, like, let me know. Is it just one of those things where you like the press release of a pool's coming on board, or are you guys actually pointing your hash power at these pools? Because if Tellor data security gets 1% better, and we have to do a whole bunch of work to get a pool on board, might not be something where we necessarily want. But if this is something that our community really wants, we'd love to put more effort into it. So let us know.
Yeah, like, are there like droves of you guys that are just like waiting for us to be on one of these pools so you can get involved and start mining? Like, let us know. We would be happy to. That would excite us to make it work. Would you say you guys are constantly worried or constantly excited? I think either would be a problem, right?
Yeah, no idea.
Neither. We've just been sort of nose to the grindstone.
Yeah, it's no, I mean, you could say the same thing. Like, that's how you are with anything. Like, you could ask that question about your kids. Like, are you constantly worried about them, or are you constantly excited? It's like, it's both exciting and slightly terrifying at the same time.
Yes, it's two sides of the same coin.
Yeah.
Will there be more guests on these calls?
Yeah, having a guest next week.
Yeah.
So should be good.
Why is mainnet hype still a thing? I mean, are we talking about Cardano's mainnet? That's the only real mainnet hype that's currently ongoing, I guess? I don't know if mainnet, I don't even know if it is still a thing.
Yeah, to me, it shouldn't be a thing. Like, it should almost be like a bare minimum.
A prerequisite, yes. Yes.
Like, there should be zero hype until your mainnet. Like,
yes.
Before you can hype at all, you should have to be mainnet. I mean, that's...
Yeah. How many of you guys were part of our community before our mainnet?
Zero, because we...
Zero.
Yeah, we don't. Well, I think we had like, what, 50 or no, we had probably like 300 people in our Telegram group.
Yeah.
For mainnet.
All friends and family.
Yeah.
Yes,
like
very few. No offense to those that were.
No, but I think it's Yeah, I mean, if anybody saw my tweet earlier today, like, I was ranting on like all these chains, like if we're ever going to build on another chain, like what do we need to see from you? Like before you actually go and you lock value into a protocol, what you should look for is that it's been live for like a year. Even Tellor, like that's one of the reasons we wanted to push live and really just work through, like we could have stayed. Chainlink didn't launch for like 3 years, and not that they even launched their product yet. But you want to get mainnet because that's the only way you sort of build trust and security in people is with people. It's just actually being live, showing that you can hold a little bit of value, showing that your system doesn't break. It's the only thing that matters in this space. Like you could have 20 audit reports in the audit reports, but it means like nothing if you haven't gone mainnet yet. As TBTC sort of showed.
Yes, that was a good example.
And we like that
mainnet hype.
Yeah. Anyway.
Well said. Okay, I like this one. Hey there, I know a lot of work is in heads downtime, and you guys are great with the video updates. Thank you. But I noticed that the announcement channel is sparse. I think it'd be great if we could do a retro of recent months' work and any upcoming target work so that those who join the community feel grounded on the position of the project we want to look out for.
Yeah, I forget we have an announcement channel.
So. Yeah, me too. Just announce it, and I have to just copy and paste it over into that channel. We can be better at that as well. Whoever this is, DM me so I can clarify your thoughts, because I think the heart of it, I understand, is that you want people to come as soon as they get there and sort of have an understanding of where we are and where we're going. It's just that we would want that as well, but it's challenging on how to do that, which is why we focus on frequent connection and transparency. So if you stick around for a while, you'll get it, as opposed to we have this prepared roadmap that, okay, yeah, someone will show up, they'll see a roadmap, they'll have a sense, but it's a fake sense, because the roadmap and that roadmaps can change, and you get into that false sense of these, hype announcements, and you didn't hit this marker, and Q2 came by, and this didn't happen, and I feel like we want to avoid is giving people a false sense of anything, and just keep people like.
No, but I'd say go look at like the month in reviews. That's like if you want to see what we've been up to. That's usually.
Yeah.
You can get like there's probably 6 of them up there now. You can go just look at monthly reviews for the past 6 months, and you can get a really good feel for what we do on a sort of weekly basis. So, and
you can infer by what we're working on what's coming down the road.
Yeah,
because we say what we're working on, and so what will eventually become an announcement. But it's hard to provide that for people that don't want to take a little bit of time to read that. And so anyway, I'm open to riffing about those kind of things with you if you want to message me. Next question, can you say more about the upcoming Matic integration as far as timeline, etc.?
Sure. I mean, not necessarily anything firm. So Matic is very new on the scene as well. They're not. We're working with them so we have to make sure we can get our token over there. We can make sure that we test out over there. We don't want anybody to have to lose money by placing their tokens over on Matic. So we're just going to make sure that we do it right, and that we, as far as timeline goes, hopefully over the next few weeks, we'll be trying to launch the Tellor system on their testnet and playing around with it. And then we'll see. The big thing over on Matic, though, is that Matic will not have sort of minting rewards. So you'll actually need somebody who's requesting data over there. So once we kind of get up on their testnet and we launch, feel comfortable with that, we'll probably launch with, kind of the team staking over there. And then we really just need to find users on Matic which is going to be kind of the big challenge over there. Similar with on Ethereum, but if there's no users on Matic, the system is sort of just halted. There's no reason for miners to even go over there. But once you get some users, then it makes sense to kind of make a bigger push. So it's kind of like a chicken and egg problem, but yeah, so we'll just be talking to some of their dApps that need price feeds.
Yeah, but it's moving forward. We interfaced with them last week. We're going to set up another call this week, just step by step. Sorry, we don't have anything more concrete, but we're working on it. Do you like what Near protocol is doing, the blockchain? I don't know if you're familiar with them, Nick. I mean, I'm not as familiar enough to really say I like what they're doing or not. So,
yeah, I mean, it seems like they're a good project. So I met them at a hackathon, and they seem legit, and it's sort of just another I
know.
Yeah, you know, we'll see. So yeah, that's kind of all I can say. I don't really know their technicals too much, because it's kind of like we were talking about before. Until you're sort of live and up for a while with some value, you know, there's a million fast blockchains. So we'll see.
Yeah. Is Austrian economics stupid?
Sure. No, I mean, it's I think so. Like a lot of people know, I dabble in Austrian economics quite a bit. You know, this is like Mises, Rothbard, Hayek, usually the famous Austrian economists, and it's centered around sort of super free market economics. I think there's just its limitations, as with anything. But at the same point, there's also a lot of good pieces to it. You know, they have a lot of, in my mind, whenever you talk about just the ideas of how markets work, how markets clear, how interest rates work and can produce bubbles in an economy, they're sort of spot on with a lot of those pieces. But then they kind of fail in a lot of ways, because they lean kind of heavily in this almost anarchic direction, to where they believe that there's almost no way that a government can make anything better, which is, you know, I've sort of learned to disagree with a little bit. So yeah, there's its pros and cons. I think, like with anything, I do like a lot of times they, you know, one of the big reasons I liked them was they sort of did a pushback against a lot of the mathematical economics that you see nowadays, which is something I don't like, where, you know, the neoclassical economists they have they model everything. So they'll create some model that, you know, if we do this to the interest rate, then we can calculate the exact percentage. And it's like, you know, like it never works out like that. Like quit trying to use your formulas, and just
Sounds
like
DeFi.
yeah, like let's just do something that makes sense. Like, and it never works out. Like there's a place for math, but, you know, it always gets funny, because like you assume perfect markets and you assume perfect competition, and then you're trying to use numbers. It's like, if you make those assumptions, you can't use numbers. So anyway, economist rant.
They know how to get a rise out of you. Will Ethereum break?
Break?
Yeah, break.
Eventually, I think.
Well, how do you define break?
Yeah, so this was, you know, how I think Ethereum could fail, or, you know, as these communities get larger, what'll eventually happen, similar to like how Bitcoin had a big split, is you know, you get rifts in your communities about the direction that it's going to go. Whether, you know, ETH 2.0, I think what a lot of people don't realize is, so the development's going to be a little bit different whenever shards come on board. So there's going to be these different blockchains that are talking to each other and it's all synced, and it might not feel the same, and they might try and change it, and there might be arguments and community splits on how to change it, and who gets to be on what shard, and everything like that. And I think they're usually, the way that any sort of these tech projects come to a collapse is it's almost just political in a sense. So, you know, you have a community that disagrees over which way to go.
Implode.
Yeah, like Bitcoin with the block size. You know, Bitcoin's community never really recovered from that. And a lot of, like, I know myself, I left the Bitcoin community then for the Ethereum community, and it was, yeah, and I think a lot of people did the same. So could it happen with Ethereum? I definitely think so. So it's just making sure that we all keep our heads on straight, and try and just, you know, quit having assumptions about what it is and what it needs to be. Because once people start getting into these really rigid frameworks, then there really is no compromise, and you end up breaking it. So.
More on Ethereum. Is the gas situation on Ethereum good or bad side?
Bad.
Yeah. I'm curious what this person might think is a good sign about it.
I mean, it's good it's showing usage.
Yeah.
You know, but it's at the same time it's full and people are paying. You know, right now it's just really hard. Like for us, for us to probably deploy the new Tellor system, it's going to be like $50 in gas. It's just, you know, it's, compare it to, you know, whenever I was launching the first Daxia contracts in like 2016, it was like a penny. It's like free. So yeah, and it's good that the price has gone up and it supports a whole lot of things, but at the same time, it really reduces how much you can do and what's going to be on there. And you know, to be honest, we've predicted this as Tellor, so that's kind of why, you know, we're a slower Oracle. We focus on kind of high value data, limited data types, and things like that, because if Ethereum doesn't scale by a whole lot, that's all that's sort of going to make sense on Ethereum for a while. So that's kind of why we were focusing on it.
Is on-chain governance good for upgradability, and is it bad for censorship resistance?
Did Paul ask this question?
I don't know, but I'm confused.
So the idea here is that if you have on-chain governance, so usually when you're talking about it, it's like a layer 1, so like a Tezos, or Tezos was obviously the first one with on-chain governance, but now, like, you know, we have on-chain governance and things like that. If you have on-chain governance, you can upgrade a lot easier, but then it's also a lot harder for censorship resistance because you're more likely to change now. So it's almost, in a lot of ways, it makes it easier to change. And I think that's the case. I think.
Well, hold on. Connect for me the ability to change with increasing the ability to censor.
Sure. Well, usually you would change and censor somebody out, like if you want to do a DAO hard fork or something.
I see.
You know, I think it's correct, those assumptions, but it's just, you know, how do you always balance upgradability, and then, you know, you want like code is law and it's never going to change, but then at the same point you need to upgrade at certain points, like, or else you're going to become an obsolete technology. So how do you know?
Yeah, being obsolete is the biggest censoring thing, you know, that you could have.
But yeah, but I think most on-chain governance is, it's more of it's just formalizing things anyway. Like, even if it's making it simpler for communities, like for Tellor, like if we just had no upgradability in our contracts, we could still technically just fork. So we would just fork by just launching a new Tellor system and telling everybody to trade in their Tellor tokens for new ones on our new system. And we could do that, and you guys would all do it, because we're the team. We don't really have users who are going to follow the old contracts. So you'd be, wouldn't be very smart to do that, since most of the work being done is by the team. Same with like Chainlink. If Chainlink just launched a new token and said, hey, everybody trade in your tokens, nobody wants the old ones. It's so like having on-chain governance to switch out your contracts, it doesn't matter whenever the team can do that. What you want at some point is, you definitely just want it to where when the team sort of loses that ability, they also lose their ability to make upgrades in the code. So yeah, it's a tough balance. I don't think there's anything wrong with on-chain governance or off-chain governance, to be honest. Off-chain governance, in off-chain governance basically always trumps on-chain governance. So you can always, like, even if you guys put in a fork of Tellor and use on-chain governance to vote in, a change in the Tellor code, we can always, like I said, just use off-chain governance and fork away and launch a new Tellor system. So it like supersedes it. The biggest thing I would say is that what happens, whether it's on-chain or off-chain, it's usually the default. So like if it's on-chain governance and you push through an upgrade, the default is now that you go with the upgrade. Whereas if it's off-chain governance and somebody pushes through an upgrade, the default is actually that you don't go with the upgrade. You have to actively switch over to the upgraded version. So it's like, where do you want your defaults to lie? And how much are you willing to sort of pay in terms of, switching your tokens and switching shit using off-chain things is not fun. So yeah, I think it's a balance. I think as you're young, the earlier the project, the more likely, super early projects just have an admin key. Once you get a little bit of value in, you should probably use on-chain governance. And then later, I think you should move to like complete off-chain governance whenever a whole lot of people are relying on you. So that's my opinion. Long-winded.
Good. Very good. Thoughts on the WBTC on Maker deal? I know you have some opinions on having all these different cryptos as collateral.
Well, no, I mean, I like multi-collateral DAI. I like the idea of having multiple.
Is there a limit to how many?
No, the problem with WD,
like if you just had every shitcoin as possible collateral,
that's fine. But the bigger problem I see is, so WBTC and USDC were recently added, and they're centralized.
Yes, that.
Like that's the problem. Don't do that, Maker. That's the problem. It's, the more, like if you have all USDC, then basically Coinbase controls your protocol.
Yeah, or who's the custodian for WBTC?
I don't even know.
BitGo, yeah. I think.
Yeah, just don't stay away from it.
Yeah, it muddies the waters of the decentralization of everything. You seem worried that marketing will kill your authenticity. Is this true? I think staying authentic while engaging in a planned marketing campaign is tough, but a necessary and worthwhile struggle. I think we really agree with that. I don't.
Yeah,
we're worried that it's a certain specific type of marketing that is very popular and has been very popular in crypto that we're avoiding. It's not marketing in general. It's not the idea, because marketing is, at its heart, marketing is just providing information. It's just the type of information, and the slant of the information goes from like really educational on one side of the spectrum, and then really salesy and manipulative on the other side. We want to be on this side of the spectrum. And on top of that, our resources to focus have been heavily weighted towards development, than the opposite, which has been, something that you see a lot, which is the resources are heavily slanted towards marketing and not much development is happening. You see these projects take 3 years to get to mainnet, this sort of thing. We just wanted to be the antithesis of that. I think we're happy with that.
Yeah. I don't know what they want. They want Reddit ads and Twitter ads.
Yeah.
It doesn't do anything for your project. So.
Well, at some point you have to just drum up fluff content and how, you
can get all the paid YouTubers to show our project and no, it's just, it's empty. It leads to these short term, it leads to a bunch of people joining your community who want to see you 100x in a week and jump off. So.
And then, yeah, exactly. Maybe you do some of these campaigns and then you get some new people come in, the coin goes up, new people buy it, but then unless you keep that steady, then you're stuck, and it has to be at this steady pace of hype and content. Otherwise, people will get bored and then they'll sell, and then you're riding this roller coaster up and down, up and down. It's based off of this marketing cycle that you've dove headfirst into. So we don't want to get lost in that carousel. We want to focus on real things and other things. But, of course, we want to continue to put out content at a steady pace and do things like this, and education, educate people and newcomers, and provide that type of content we're all about. So we're trying to find the balance. It's tough for us. So we're always thinking about it. And I know you guys will always remind us to consider these things. So thank you. And here's the last question, is also marketing related. Marketing should be a really, really high priority around the launch of V2. Do you agree? I think it will be, we have sort of we will get more into our plans around that once we get closer to it, but you kind of want to have your announcements lined up weeks in advance. You want to have any sort of interviews or any arrangements leading up to it. You want to start to build up on those things. That's how you sort of market a major launch like that. So you want to just the weeks. It's not just we just announce and then we talk about it. You want to sort of have a little bit of a lead in. So yeah, these are stuff that we're going to be doing our best. We definitely want as many people to know about V2 as possible. So
cool.
We agree.
Anyway,
and that's it.
Yeah. Thanks everyone for coming. If you guys got any other questions, always available on Telegram. So thanks everyone for coming, and hope to talk to you guys next week.
See you next time. Yep.
All right. Ending recording.